So yes. I feel like there's something else. I knew that. You just confused me.
Sorry.
No. Don't tell me. Hello everyone and Salam Aleikum, it's the Muslim doula here. This video is about how to perform wudhu. I'm going to start off with explaining what you need to have wudhu for, followed by what it is mustahab to have wudhu for, meaning what it's good to have wudhu for, followed by what invalidates wudhu, and then ending with how to perform it itself. So the things that you need to have wudhu for are all your prayers except for Salat al-Mayt, which is the prayer you perform for someone who has passed away. You also need to have it when you do the tawaf of the Kaaba, and you also need to have it for when you touch the Quran, the script of it, but the translation doesn't count. So if you're touching it in English or any other language, that's okay, but if you're touching it in its original form in Arabic, then you need to have wudhu to be able to touch the script for that. What it is mustahab to have wudhu for is Salat al-Mayt, as I mentioned, namaz al-Mayt. When you visit the graves, so when you visit a cemetery, visiting a mosque, visiting a shrine of the prophets, peace be upon him and his family, or the imams, peace be upon them. And before you go to sleep, it's good to be on wudhu when you go to sleep. And in general, it's really good to be on wudhu. It's just good for you. There's a lot of benefits. What invalidates your wudhu are the following. So secretion, when you urinate, when you pass wind from the rear, when you fall asleep in a sleep that's deep enough for you to not be able to hear or see. So let's say you're closing your eyes and you can't see anything, but you can still actively hear what's going on. That doesn't count. So if you can't hear and you can't see, then that is considered invalidating your wudhu, as well as janabat. So for more details about everything that I mentioned and for further information, I've added some links in the description below as usual, and feel free to go to those and learn about this in further detail. I highly recommend that you do that. Enjoy this following video that shows you how to do wudhu. How you perform wudhu is your first step is always your niyyah, so your intention. So before you start, this is your intention to do wudhu so that you can pray. Or if you are just going to go on wudhu so you can stay on wudhu, you can do that too, and it's still applicable for when you do prayer. However, it's always mustahab and it's always better to do wudhu before you pray, even if you're on wudhu already. So you start with your niyyah, and then you take off your rings. It makes it a lot easier to get the water in between everywhere. Turn on the water, and you start by pouring water over your face, and you need to cover everything on your face from the top of your head, your forehead, to your chin, and from your fingers all the way to both sides of your face, like that. You have to do at least once with water, and twice is mustahab, to go over it twice, and then you shouldn't do more than that. So I find 2 times is usually easier anyway. So you go over your entire face, make sure the water gets in all the crevices, and you wipe it down, and then you do it again with water. Then you're done with your face, and you go onto your arms. You start by doing wudhu on your right arm, followed by your left arm. So what I usually do is, with the water running, I kind of just pour, let's say the water is running here, I pour it so it gets all over my hand, and I pour it on this side so it gets all over this hand, and then I wipe. So you use your left hand to wipe from your elbow all the way down to the end of your fingers, and then from the inside all the way down to your fingers. And then you can do like this to get in between. For girls, it's actually better to do your first wipe from the inside of your arm and then your second wipe from the outside. And for boys, it's good to do your first wipe from the outside of your arm and the second wipe from the inside. That is your second body part. And then of course, then you do the same thing to your left. Now if you don't do what I do, which is pouring the water directly on your arms, you can use your hand. So you pour the water on your left hand and you drip it over your arm, and then you do a wipe. You take the water, you pour it over your arm, and you do a wipe. And then again, you can do the same thing for your left arm. After you're done your arms, your next step is to take your finger and to go from there to there. Now, you have to try to get your actual skin. For girls and for boys, try to make sure, maybe before you do wudhu, to make a partition or something so that you can do this easily. And you have to use the moisture that's already on your hands. You don't put it back under the water. So at this point, after you've wiped your arms, if you have a tap that allows you to, you could just kind of turn it off with your elbows so you don't waste water. But then you just do this, and then you use your fingers. You use at least one finger, but you can use two. And you have to go on your feet. So from the tip of your toes, you slide it all the way to your ankle. So let's pretend this is my foot. And then I wipe from the tip of that all the way like that. So I do my right foot, and then I do my left foot. And then you're done. Now you have wudhu. I hope that's helpful for you guys. If you guys have any questions or comments or recommendations, please let me know. And please do subscribe to my channel. And Assalamu Alaikum. Take care.